Alright, this is Zack Dolan from Unlikely Heroes Studios, the people who bring you super, baby. And you are listening to the Wizard Nerdcast right now, baby, so stay tuned.
James?
There. DK?
T.O. Nelly.
No.
See, because he starts it.
No. Okay. I'm not even dealing with your bullshit today. Get the fuck out. Go, leave.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit.
I made you guys.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You made us. Go.
We'll see.
Yeah, we're seeing right now. Well, not seeing, but hearing.
Go to work.
Fuck you.
Anyway, we're here interviewing Zack Dolan and Justin Piatt, the writers and artist of Super Comic. That
bullshit.
Fucking DK.
Fuck you, DK. Let's interview these people.
So again, thank you guys for coming on to the Wizard Nerdcast. It's greatly appreciated. Just to let everybody know who's listening, we're here with Justin Piatt and Zack Dolan.
Yo,
what's up?
They are the creators of Super from Unlikely Heroes Studios and
the comic book Super.
The comic book Super.
Not the Rainn Wilson.
No, nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You guys are based out of Atlantic City, is that right?
Yes.
Are you both from there? You grew up there, or you just recently moved there?
We were both from the area originally, and actually went to school together. But I moved out to Arizona for quite a few years, and recently came back, and we just accidentally bumped into each other.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. McDonald's, like, completely by accident. So the answer is yes to both questions.
Oh, all right. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, we're based out of Philly, so we're not too far from you.
Yeah.
I spent my summers down in Atlantic City growing up with my grandparents, so I'm well versed in the area at least.
Look at you.
Yeah.
What he means to say is he had a problem.
I love White House subs are my favorite. I'm sorry. I'll drive down there for just the sandwiches and then drive back. I've done it multiple.
We do the same thing, but with Philly. I mean, we're kind of like
cheesesteaks.
Yeah, like if we go to a concert or something, or for Wizard World when we go, like we got to hit up Gino's and Pat's that little cheesesteak hub before we leave. Like definitely.
Yeah, you just got to hit the culture, right? That's the best part. But speaking of culture, you guys seem pretty well versed in nerd culture. With Super, it's a book I really enjoyed, and I don't want to get into spoiler territory because I know you guys have it up on Amazon and you're selling it at the shows, and the webcomic is basically issue 6. Is that right?
No, not really. What issue 6 is under production as a normal issue.
Oh, okay.
The webcomic is more of a supplementary thing. Like it's almost entirely comprised of jokes that we came up with that have no real place. But it's funny, so we're just like consider this like the DVD extras.
Oh, that's great.
Wow, awesome. Special features.
Exactly.
Every nerd loves special features.
Oh, yeah.
But now you guys, were you always into comics? I mean, I know Zack, you've been drawing forever, right? Like you've
Yeah, since I was 3. So
oh wow,
3 years now, or 30 years now. And yes, been into it pretty much my whole life. Yeah.
Is it something you always wanted to do, or is it just something you enjoyed?
Both. It was just I knew very young that this is what teachers like pulling me out of class to like show people like, look at this kid, it's ridiculous. And I thought I was like in trouble. I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? And they're like, he's so good. So yeah, like pretty much like if I didn't do this, I think basically everyone I've ever met would be disappointed. So
It's weird. We were in the same graduating class, and we had classes together. We went to AC High, and it was just like kind of understood that Zack was gonna do comics. Like he knew he was gonna do it, and that's all he did. And when we met back up, I just assumed that Zack was this, on the road to being this big like comic book artist star, like this huge person in the industry. And I asked him like what he had done with it, and like it was just tough to get it in to break in.
yeah, I was just like I had to get a real job.
Yeah.
I was like I need money, so I can't just like do the starving artist thing. So I just kind of assumed that like, oh well, that's something you do when you're a kid. Now it's time to grow up, But like apparently no.
We don't.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, no, you that's not like an acceptable answer. Let's
Like I always wanted to do it. It's just it was not feasible. Like it was like, well, I can't get a job that pays the bills with this out of school, so I have to get like a real job, and then you just kind of settle.
You gotta work up to it. Like
I'm doing this real job now, so whatever.
Real jobs are terrible. They're terrible things.
the hardest way to earn
Exactly.
easy living.
And in the meantime, I said from pretty much like since after high school, like I'm gonna get a job in writing, and I was just gonna, So I wrote like horrible screenplay after horrible screenplay.
Oh, so movies were the initial target for you.
Well, yeah. For me, definitely. Like I was thinking movies, and I'd written like a bunch of like crappy novel ideas, and I just knew like, okay, I want to write. I ended up taking like classes for it, and it's part of my like, just screenwriting.
Right.
Program, and through them I pretty much kind of knew a little bit they pretty much just drilled into my head like to outline like crazy and to plan ahead what you were gonna do.
Right.
So I hit up with Zack at just the right time, and I had like the inkling of like a half decent idea, and enough to get Zack interested. We started meeting up probably like 2010. Meeting up and talking about my horrible idea. It was so freaking bad.
Well, what was it? You got to tell us.
Yeah, now we need to know.
Essentially, it's just the opposite of what super is.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
Zack-
the polar opposite of what super stands for in every way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
There's this huge universe where supers are all over the place, and capes are abundant, and it's just
Tights
really
and lasers
fun.
and robots and
And-
stuff. Yeah.
And it was like this, like, maybe he was fighting me to the death to get people in uniforms and give them superpowers, and I was all about like, I don't know, like I guess the core idea was like give people superpowers with limitations, like very few, like
It was very budget conscious.
It's a comic. We don't need budgets.
It's not like one of those like pre-Arrow superhero shows where it's like, well, you're superheroes, but you really just all wear leather jackets. And
It was the first X-Men then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was like the total opposite of what super is.
See, when you said initially the polar opposite, I was just thinking a guy sitting on the couch in khakis all day, like it's just like 40 panels of that over and over again.
This is Jake from State Farm.
I took it too literally.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but you're close.
Yeah, fair enough.
it wasn't anything special.
There was a lot of talking heads.
We kind of just like, and messing with that stuff, we kind of started figuring out like just how we worked together. We like fleshed out some pages and some, but we never made a comic before Super or before this thing, so it was just like literally the first time we'd ever done it. Zack was doing like inking and coloring himself for it, and we probably did like 8-9 pages before we finally just put it on hold forever. And we're essentially I found Zack's like Super Bible that he had. It must have been like 70 characters from Super already made, and we just stopped and we're like, look, what's this guy's story? And he'd be like, oh, well, that's the Deadly Lunatic, and this is what this
Wonder Twins unite.
and these guys had these backstories, but there were so many of them, and there was a lot of story and almost like too much story. So I had learned only one thing in school, which was out of outline. So I started, we started putting
So you're
together the Super Bible and kind of went from there.
Right.
Yeah, I just become so used to like no one giving a crap about my ideas.
Yeah, you just ran with it.
Forward. Like I had done other like low tier comic jobs before that, and I was already kind of like jaded about it by the time we met up again. Like I had done, really terrible stuff, basically, like the self-insert fanfic by Guy with Money.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
And it was bad. And I already kind of soured on the idea that it's like, oh, this is what it's like. Like it's not awesome like you think it is when you're a kid. You work for some guy with bad ideas and you do. And then he came and was like looking through the book and he's like, well, why the hell are you doing it? I don't know.
And I remember even with my idea, he was so like amazed that like we were even talking about the things, and that he was, like I had never
He
read a
asked me
comic
like, well,
before.
what do you think about this? And I kind of like looked over my shoulder, like assuming he was talking to somebody else. Like, wait, you can see that?
Ooh, me?
Cool.
And here's the thing, like Zack has, like you mentioned, the encyclopedic knowledge of nerd culture. I know the X-Men, but I didn't know them from like reading X-Men comics. Like I had the trading cards, I played the video games, I watched the cartoons, but I could never wake up early enough to watch.
Reruns were still happening back then.
Netflix.
The awesome arcade game, man.
It was always a brilliant idea to market something to teens and put it really early in the morning on the one day they're allowed to see.
Right, exactly.
yeah.
Terrible.
Why do they hate us?
So, oh shit, I don't know. I completely.
No, that's all right.
Well,
But-
speaking of encyclopedic knowledge of comic books, can we geek out a bit about how you drop so many goddamn references in Super?
Yeah, you have in the
It's
one.
Analog City in this book, right? You've got a Swamp Thing, you've got a Strange, you've got, all your typical characters in another costume, and it's great. I really it really seems like you guys are more fans than anything else, even if it's just of your own work,
By fans for fans.
Exactly. That's what we do.
Well, that's always been like we've always believed in the idea of the parody out of love. Like,
Yeah, no, you can feel it.
You can tell the difference immediately when you see a parody that is by someone who does not like what is being parodied and by someone who does.
Yeah.
It criticizes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we definitely are like leaning on the like we love it, but we also know that it's silly and we know how to make fun of it because we've seen so much of it. You see these tropes and these archetypes, and we just kind of want to kind of lampshade them.
It's like a parody of love, more or less.
But
Basically.
You guys are the first ones that I've seen to put a Super Saiyan in a comic book.
She's referring to Blitz from where?
Yeah, she's like, she just goes Super Saiyan. I love it so much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. She gets to it way faster. You don't have to wait for 30 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
None of the charging us.
Have we done it to over 9,000 yet?
No, we have not referenced it.
Oh my god. it's well over it.
Well over 9,000.
Also, I want to say that I love your black lion-o.
Your what?
They've got a black lion-o.
Who are you referring to?
He's near the back. Hold on. I forget his name. But
and believe me, this is a note. Like we all love this. Everything you have in there.
I love it so much. I love this book.
You guys,
Which guy is she referring to?
she's looking for it right now.
I'm looking for him. Hold on.
We have She's got the book right in front of her. Well, while she's looking for it, I got to point out, and I was showing Mara, we were going back through it. You've got that scene where all the scientists are meeting up. You guys threw so many cameos in the 2 panels. It was unbelievable. You got.
Oh, yeah, we were going for like a record.
It was. You have all the doctors. You've got Ghostbusters. It looks like a Mr. Freeze. God, now I can't even think of them. Doc Brown.
Plastic Woman.
Yeah. Well, you've got. It literally. I pointed out a whole ton. Mara started pointing out some to me. Another friend of the show, Potter, was pointing them out to me. So I've been passing this book around to everybody that I could to read it.
You guys have a very umbrella reference pool, you know.
Zach was pointing people out to me. People like flew over my. I was like, that's not a random person. He's like, no, that's so and so.
I saw the robot from the goddamn day the Earth stood still in there.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. Both him and the robot from the Black Hole are in there.
Black Hole. That's the one I couldn't remember. That's what I couldn't remember.
They got a
2 robots from the
baby,
Black
they've got
Hole.
a
There's the
war
flying one
machine.
is the waiter, and there's the red one, the evil one. There's Maximilian is in there too somewhere.
Jesus Christ.
Now, was that just on a whim? One night?
Pretty much, yeah. But we just were like, well, we're going to this place that's supposed to have all these scientists, and we just were like, I know it, you know, like we can do it, so why shouldn't we?
Right.
Yeah, 10 seconds in, we're like, oh fuck, we're pushing it to. You
We're
know,
like, well, we could get sued horribly for this, but who cares?
Let's hope we won't. Yeah.
Lucked out on that. Everybody seemed to just laugh.
It was so great, and I loved every bit of it. And I've been, we have this thing called banana phone. We say it when we're not allowed to talk about stuff that we're going to talk about on air. I was telling these guys beforehand, and I've been likening your work to what Robert Kirkman does with Invincible. You guys created this entire universe in 5 issues, and I've got to tell you what. It hooked me instantly. I want to see everybody's backstory. Like I would literally buy a comic book for every one of these characters.
What I love most is I love the dialogue. The dialogue in this comic is so laid back, so modernized. It's natural and
realistic.
It's easy to relate to.
Which is so hard to do.
Yeah, I love in the very beginning where they're fighting Mr. Roboto and she's like, "Shut the fuck up!" You know what I mean? I'm like, the whole their back and forth kills me. I really love it.
Well, that's good. Thank you. And we always wanted to rag on that, you know, that like the hero or the villain, it happens both ways. That like they'll just patiently wait and let the other guy like do his monologue or transform, and they don't do anything. They're just standing there, and like we're just like, no, that's not what you would do. You wouldn't punch them. You would just flip them off and punch them.
But also another problem with it is writing is like all the dialect is very stoic. It's very superhero.
It can never translate into real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can't see someone saying those exact lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with you guys, it's like, all right, this just happened around the corner from me, so.
Yeah, pretty much. It's all meant to feel like, you know, this is the real world if this crap was real, you know, not you know, what people would do if superhero stuff was actually going on, you know, and people would be mad about property damage and they would sue and they would, you know, there would be all these problems that are just never addressed. You know?
Yeah, they would hold you accountable.
like the only time like you really see it is when they do like the Watchmen, like they make supers illegal.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Or like Hitman.
That's the only
Yeah.
time you see it being done like realistically.
Usually in the comics, it's just like, oh, you have a giant robot and you leveled 6 blocks of the city saving us from this monster, but you know, it's fine, whatever.
We'll deal with
You know,
it.
like, it's
Yeah.
super, they're like, no, you leveled 6 city blocks. Like, we had an army that was going to deal with that. You really should have just stayed out. You know?
Mark, you mentioned the scope of Super and how like 5 issues in, we had developed like a decent world. And one thing I want to tell you is that the scope of Super is so ridiculously big that like there's so much more like issue issue 4 introduced all the oldsters in the old age home.
Oh, that was great. That was so great. I love that concept. I really did.
That's something else you never ever see either. Is that
No.
Old superheroes.
You know, like guys who were created in the 30s.
Yeah,
are
you don't
still
get the retired superhero.
Except for Watchmen.
Which brings me to my point.
Yeah,
Have you guys seen What We Do in the Shadows?
What was that?
Have you guys seen the movie What We Do in the Shadows, the vampire movie?
I have not.
No.
Take a look. It does the same thing for vampire movies that you guys are doing for superheroes.
It
Oh yeah.
Poking holes in logic. It's the most hilarious thing. Like, they're going around at night trying to come into nightclubs and they have to ask permission to come in. It's genius. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we like to do. That it's like, okay, you're gonna set up these stupid rules for like how superpowers and stuff work. You gotta follow them. You can't just like pretend that it doesn't happen. So,
right.
Like we like consequences to those things. Yeah, and they're always funny. You know, like the concept that you would have superhuman insurance. You know.
right, yeah.
Yes.
Which would be a
Heroes,
very
because
real
they're
thing.
not supposed to be breaking things. Like they're supposed to be responsible. So it's like, no, I'm paying for these damages because you're an idiot.
And I'll tell you what, that's got to be what drove your Kickstarter, because I know you guys started with Kickstarter in 2012, and it shot through the roof, right?
Yeah, did you guys expect to like over double your funding request in a week? Like that's crazy.
No.
No,
Not at all.
You guys are so American.
That first Kickstarter was the first time anybody had ever seen it. Like we were almost through. We had all the pencils done for the first issue, so all 52 pages were done.
Yeah, we did a bunch of it just on our own initiative. Like everything we could do, we did ourselves, and then we had to like raise money to like get a colorist, you know, because I was inking the first issue at the time.
Right.
Yeah, and we
So
were.
brought Lori on.
Yeah, but you got a 1-2 punch with her. She's your cosplayer, your cover to your magazine.
She's the
Your-
face of your universe, you
Okay,
know?
we're really lucky to have her.
You
and then
better be paying her very well.
We do our best.
Well put.
But yeah, we were very grateful to have her because she's getting the freaking costume together and parading around.
She's making a new costume.
Yeah, she's making a new and improved version of the costume.
Ooh,
awesome.
we can't wait to see it.
I know our friend of the show, Potter, he was with me at ACBC, and he was dying to get a picture with her, and he's gonna kill me for saying this, but he's in love with her. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, actually, that was not Lori. That was our East Coast model, Bridget, who was wearing the costume.
Oh, is that who it was?
Yes, we'll have two sides of the country with two different blitzes. She's like the Blitz of Earth too.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Something we can all understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Lori fills this very key role. Like she's right in between Zack in the pencils, and even with the colors. So she's like the reason we're on time or can keep any kind of schedule. Like she is like, we did issue 1. Zack did the inks on that. So she starts coming in issue 2, and by like the middle of issue 2, like the quality, Zack and Eve and Lori are hitting a stride, and quality wise it went through the roof. Like if you go back to issue 1, like it looks good, but it's not as good as like towards the end.
Right.
Yeah, there is a market improvement between issue 1 and issue 5 in quality. Like I didn't used to
You're
see
killing
it. Like I didn't used to see it. Like I was like, no, issue 1 is perfect. You know, but now I see like, oh yeah, no, we got way better. We totally learned what we're doing over time. You know?
It looks great all the way through. I mean, I know what you're saying, but believe me, it looks great all the way through.
Nah, the book itself, the art is beautiful. I love
I
it.
guess it's good to be able to say that you went from good to great. Like that's.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Would you
For a
say
while-
it benefited mostly from a woman's touch?
Oh, Jesus.
For a while, I've been telling myself that if I can keep this team of artists together, then these guys are, you know what I mean? Then this is going to be successful.
Yeah, it's awesome to have your dream team so early on, you know? everything just kind of worked out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did, because we just pretty much every single thing about this that fell together was accidental.
Oh,
It was either accidental or just plain coincidence, you know.
You guys have some good dumb luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bumped it in the McDonald's. There's
with Lori, I was sitting here. We're looking for an inker because Zack did the whole issue 1 by himself, and it took freaking forever. Like he drew a page which took like 2 or 3 days, and then he would ink the same page for another 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, we're doing this on top of day jobs.
Yeah. Rough.
So we're like slaving away at this, and
It would just take forever. So we're like, okay, we've got to get an inker in, and we must have went through over 10 easily. Like I'm going on DeviantArt, I'm just searching an ink information.
They were all terrible in some way or other. Either they talked themselves up that they were amazing, and then they just bombed horribly when they tried it, or they had talent and they were like, "Man, I was not expecting it to be this much work. I cannot do this."
Yeah, one of the first pages we gave them was one of the ones with Plague.
The cover of issue 3 was our test page, because we had that done really early, because we knew we had to be in the back of issue 2, which was already like in progress by the time we were doing this. And so we were like, we just threw them off the deep end, you know, like if you can do this page, you're hired.
That's awesome.
Basically, no one could. Like one guy got past that test, and then we gave him the real pages, and he was like, "Oh no."
Oh, fuck this.
And he pretty much just kind of backed out. And then we found Lori. We were fully expecting to just be like another joke. We were like, you know,
yeah,
whatever.
because Lori didn't have a whole lot of examples up on her DeviantArt.
Yeah, she didn't even seem to be seriously interested in being an inker. It was more of a hobby.
There was a couple things, and I looked at like the pencils and the inks, and I'm like, well, she inked what was penciled, and you know. So
And it looks like so we were like,
let's
let's just give her a try, whatever. You know?
And she killed it. She hit the ground like she was as hungry as these guys were as Zack and Eve were for like to do this. And so we're kind of like spoiled. Like Zack's a cover artist, he just doesn't know it yet. And,
Yeah.
So the inside of the book is like the cover art.
Yeah.
And Eve does the same thing, and I'm like, man,
the standard must not be lowered for any reason. Like,
Oh.
I'm sorry, I
Oh my
just can't
God.
do it. Like I can't half-ass it. I don't.
So are you saying you're not the next Alex Ross, Zach?
Well, I won't argue if you insist, but I just think that you just have to do your best all the time, you know, like.
And you do.
People tell me like, oh, but you half-assing it is better than most people at full ass, you know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, even if I believe you, I can't do it. Like,
yeah,
I can't.
these Kickstarter sketches, like people ordered. We went back to Kickstarter to make those to make the trades, which is what we had at AC Boardwalk Con. These hardcover books, and that's what we have on Amazon now. It's got 1 through 5 in it.
Yeah, that's the one I bought at the ACBC. Yeah, great.
So we got that made through Kickstarter, and one of the things we learned from Kickstarter 1 to that one was like, okay, well, people wanted something special, you know, like the Kickstarter backers should have something different on it than the regular ones do. They should, you know. So we got those stamped, and because we're like, you know, nuts when it comes to the Kickstarter stuff, I was like, Zack, why don't we just see if everyone wants a sketch inside the front cover? I'm like, because we see him at these conventions, and he'll do, you know, I don't know, like 5 to 8 commission sketches on a day, and I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna get like 13, 14 people who are gonna want it. And
We'll get it done really quickly. It won't be a big problem. And then literally, it's like 130 people.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and it's taking 2 days per
yeah,
sketch
and I'm
sometimes.
like doing these like really elaborate drawings in the thing, and they're all yelling at me. They're like, "You don't know what a sketch is."
They're like, just draw a smiley face.
Play Hangman.
Like they're telling me, like, stop making it so good. Just get it out the door. Like, and I'm like, I can't. I don't know how.
They won't stop.
Should charge much more for those.
Now that I'll tell you what, that's got to be would at least part of it. I mean, on top of the great work, but the Kickstarter was phenomenal for you guys. And then what prompted the change to? Now, am I saying this right? Patreon?
Yeah, Patreon has been around for like a year or two, and it was an iffy call for us because there weren't a lot of like full issue to issue comics on Patreon. It seemed like a lot of like web comics and YouTube started, and we watched a lot of YouTube while we're making it, and they're all like, "Well, support our Patreon at the end of these YouTube videos." So we started checking into it, and Kickstarter. Most of our fans are either from a convention that we ran into or through Kickstarter or for somebody spreading the word. But I totally derailed. God damn it.
I'll save you. It's basically the idea is that like they attack the concept of crowdfunding differently, whereas Kickstarter is. It runs for 1 month and it encourages you to put in like a large sum of $50 or $100 or however many dollars at one time, and then it's done to raise this big sum all at once. Patreon is like a month-to-month continuous thing, and it encourages you to do more of the like $2, $5, or $10 stuff, though, so that it's like, you can be like, well, I don't have $100 to put in right now.
Right.
I have $2.
Could you?
And like, if enough people say yes, I'll put in $2. It combines into a large sum. That helps a lot.
Now, with the Patreon, you guys have different tiers, and each tier, once it gets to a certain point, you guys you're doing sketches and you're involving characters that are going to be in your universe.
Every tier is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every tier is awesome.
Would you?
We actually have a thing that all the slots are currently filled right now for it, but
We'll open up the new one.
we did open up the new one. Okay.
Your original question was like about the jump from Patreon to Kickstarter. We have the trades from the last one. We made the toys, we made the shirts and the hoodies and all these things. But the only thing we're really good at making is a comic. And I'm sitting here trying to make hoodies and shirts, and I'm like talking to these guys like we got to get back to the comic. We've got to do this. In the meantime, nobody's really getting paid. Like the money for the Kickstarter went to make these books and to make the toys.
Yeah, for printing and making the rewards and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they're talking like, okay, well, let's do a Kickstarter for issue 6, and let's try to actually pay. Because we've been doing it out of pocket or for free or both in some cases.
And other forms of
so it's like getting the books from the Kickstarter was huge, but it's like, okay, well, we're gonna need to, we're gonna need to get things rolling. If we did a Kickstarter for issue 6 and factored in what it cost to make the book, plus what it took to print, we'd be doing like $10,000.
It would have to be an absurdly high number,
It would be and
it would have to be even higher because the rewards you would have to give people to entice them to put in the money would be larger and more complicated. You'd have to pay out of the sum to get them made for the people, so that you'd have to grow the sum even more to even get what you needed to make the book.
Wow.
Like there's like on paper with the Kickstarters, we raised 10,000 and 2,000, but what's you're not seeing is like 30 to 40,000. That's like straight credit card debt and straight to get our artists paid. And so we're sitting here like, man, how can we sustain ourselves? How can we get this made? Because what we're seeing is like different people with commission sketches. Like if Zack's doing Super for free and somebody's like, hey, can you draw Mega Man fighting Dr. Wily for $100 or $150 or whatever he charges?
Well, that's nowhere near what I charge. It's like 10 times my price. Like 150. Like, yeah, I wish I could charge 150.
I'll tell you what, your art's definitely worth it.
Oh, for sure.
I appreciate the thought, but no.
No, don't oversell him. He said $15. I'm gonna start making wild requests.
Because he's got to pay bills and eat and stuff.
So like Super is the thing that we're not getting paid for. Like it's entirely a labor of love. So we have to
That's a
do
crime.
other jobs all the time to supplement it. So to just not only to pay for its production, but to just live. So
yeah, Patreon was like, okay, well, I want you to be doing a Super page and getting that same amount than doing some random some other book or some commission thing, because like the definitely like I want to see issue 6 as soon as possible, and I think there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, you got me on board. When does it keep going?
Right.
And we never had an answer for it. We're like, oh, we're gonna try to find a publisher
Eventually.
Soon.
So now we have an answer. It's like, well, we're moving forward again. It's probably going to take a little bit to really kick in, get in motion, but we're trying to spread the word about the Patreon. And a lot of the rewards are more of the stuff that comes like directly out of making the book. It's not like we're making shirts and hoodies and gadgets. We're letting some of the background characters, instead of just being originals like guys that Zack cooks up, we're letting people, like, he's making them into characters, and they'll just pop up in the background.
Yeah, the reward concept is that you can either make yourself, and send us pictures and stuff and tell us what kind of superhero or villain you would like to be, or if you had an idea for a character but you could never do anything with it yourself, we're like, well, we'll put it in our book, and
that is so awesome.
You have to get permission for that too, to be able to.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're working with this person. We're not just gonna be like, your character is ours.
Yeah, right.
That's every nerd's dream.
Exactly, to be a superhero.
But normally, there's a lot of like background characters just kind of lurking around and getting one-lines or getting involved in action sequence or something like that. And they're just people we make up to fill those roles. But like now, they'll be like, oh, they'll be like, a fan could be like, that's me throwing that card.
like Zack, you'd be surprised at how intricate the backstories are of characters that we're never going to get a room to tell these backstories. Like,
you can tell though.
Which is one of the reasons for the webcomic.
Yeah.
It's like, this character has this really awesome, hilarious, complicated backstory, and it's like, well, we don't have time to talk about that. We're never going to be able to sit down and explain that, so we just do it in the webcomic.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's like, oh, well, there you go. Now I know.
I got to tell you, I'm terrible with names, and I apologize. I've read this book 3 or 4 times, and you guys, so many characters in here. it really is so hard to keep the name straight. The character with the charm around the neck and the trench coat and the hat with the glowing green eyes.
Twisted Fate.
Silhouette.
Okay,
Silhouette.
that character alone. Okay, I want everything possible on. Give me.
Well, that will be dealt with in the real story. That is one of the things. Like the main team, we're going to discuss all of their
Awesome.
backgrounds and origins. I meant more like people like like you're in the bar and you see like the Guild of Guardians and you want to know like what's their deal. It's like, well, we might not have time for that. That's
Just give me everything.
Like Silhouette and the Fire Ant and that they will all be explained in story.
You guys basically have the Game of Thrones of books going on.
Is it like our
Someone sells that way.
You have to make a superillion for this.
what did you say?
She said you have to make a superillion for this.
Someone got it.
Yeah.
Crickets.
I'm telling you what. I'll just what do I have to pay to just give me all the backstory, and I'll just sit here and read through everything you got. Like,
Can we look through your notes?
Yeah, all I can say is from having gone through it, it's really like the wait for me is ridiculously frustrating. Like I know where the story goes. I know where the story ends.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, it's so great what you've done so far."
Oh,
like,
you have no idea.
You have no idea how not the top of the heap this is.
Like I was worried about this volume 1 being accepted because this was all the setup. Like, well, I mean, the world's going to continue to get kind of bigger. But this was we're setting up our main characters.
We have to front load a lot of exposition in this.
You know what?
That
There's
really upsets a lot of people sometimes. Like you can feel the drag of like the info dump.
yeah, but you know what? You're given
I
a.
never feel that way with this book, so we're really lucky.
Yeah, if we could pull off, like if we could tell this to completion, I think we'll have one of the better superhero stories, like period, because like it
I think you already do.
We're gonna nail the ending. Like I know 100% we're gonna nail the ending because I know what it is, and I can't wait to do it because it's so good. Like when you see what happens, it's gonna be like the Super Bowl. And it's gonna set this apart from your Marvel or your DCU. Like yeah, we have the awesome big universe, but they're doing their origin stories again and again and again. And
it's not that hard to come out with a new character. It's hard to make them go somewhere.
You guys could literally call it the Super Bowl. You know that, right? You just got to put the exclamation point right in between.
Now, you guys have it planned out, right? I mean, I know you're talking about the ending.
Yeah. We have an absurd amount of outlining done between now and the end, and stuff that is so overpacked. We have to trim some of it.
Is there wiggle room for it to go in a different direction, or are you pretty set on where you are?
Very, very mild wiggle room.
We'll do stuff like, this story is too big to really fit in one issue. We're gonna make this a two-part.
That's what we did with issue 2. Like issues 2 and 3 were one issue on the outline.
And then we were like, no, that's
Wow. Wow.
So that kind of stuff we'll do, but in terms of like who lives and who dies and who is good and who's evil and where their stories end up, that's pretty much set in stone. Like we're not.
Yeah, and there's a part of the script where it's just the point of no return. And I can't wait because it's just like
it's one of those like once you reach a certain point in the story, it's like
there's no wiggle room anymore.
You won't realize it, but you're on the roller coaster to the end.
Right.
Just like in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
A relevant example would be issue 6. Like issue 6, some of the characters were on the outline way later, like after 10, probably after 20 issues. And I love these characters. They're my favorite. Like some of my favorite villains.
We were like, we have to introduce them a little earlier so we can play with them. Like we had to, because we realized that it was like, man, it's gonna be a really long time before we get any of these guys out. Let's just bump up their introduction, and we like traded places with a story, because it was kind of self-contained in itself. So it was like we could do that. But in terms of stuff like, what I like to call the Deadpool phenomenon of like, oh, this character is really popular, so now it is the main focus of every single thing you do. We're never doing that. It doesn't matter how much you like the mime is not going to start leading the team.
But then you have to make them self-aware.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Well, if that happens, just go with it, and you have to make them self-aware, like Deadpool.
Yep.
That fourth wall.
I mean, we'll definitely if fans really respond to a character, we'll know that we made the right decision by embellishing them, and if people don't, we'll know to sort of like, well, we don't need to focus on them,
But like the Fire Ant silhouette, the main team, like they're there,
we'll never randomly pull out like a character when sales slump and be like, here's
You're gonna pull your Wolverine out, right?
He's exciting, and you have to buy everything with him. We're never doing that. So.
Yeah, you can do what Kirkman does and just kill everyone's favorite character every single time.
No, we're not doing that either.
This is comic books. Nobody dies.
It's going to happen, and you're going to be like, because somebody who does know what happens told me, they were like, I hate you for making me give a shit about these walking punchlines. They were like, it was all fun and games when we started. But now that we get to the end, you're like, no, I don't want to be here anymore. You made me care, So
yeah, it's gonna be good. The ups and downs of it, it's gonna be good. Do you guys have favorite characters from the thing?
Mine is Silhouette, flat out, to be honest with you. And in all honesty, it falls to the costume and the characterization of it. Of the character, and I'll tell you what, I just recently started cosplaying, and we shot some videos for the webpage and everything like that. And Brother Worth was my first shot at it, and I'm Silhouette's the next.
Nice.
I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna do it. I don't care what's necessary.
Well, you already got tits, so.
All black. I just need to figure out how to do the all black underneath the jacket, and I'm good to go.
Spandex suit.
I love silhouette too.
Nothing.
Sorry. See, we
I don't
derailed too.
I don't want her to drop any spoilers.
I know it's a podcast, so you guys can't see this, and Zach can't see it on this side. But on the screen, I'm watching what is between the guys on the other side, like a complex series of hand signals.
Yeah. This is how we do.
We're so used to how we have to move things along.
She's going for it. She's going for third.
It's just we get so.
What are they doing? It's all really worked out. It's like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, our podcast is the master of visual comedy.
We derail so much and so often that hand signals have to fly because it's the only way we can do this. It really is. It's unbelievable. Like if you ever get a chance to listen, we start at one topic and then by the end of the episode, odds are we forgot what the topic was.
We are the proverbial wiki links fucking
Jumper.
vortex.
Yeah. It's just how it goes, and I apologize, but that's just how we are. That's who we are. It's what we are. So
He's not coming at you.
she's touching my boob, and it's semi awkward.
Easy now.
But I do want to I wrote down one thing here. Within the first couple pages of the first issue, I had noticed the Wendy's Baconator at the hands of Michael Moore joke. I had to close the book for a second because I couldn't I was going to drop it or something.
You had to
I
soak it in.
breathe, I guess. And it's such a simple joke, but that kind of humor, that was what set the tone for me, and I was like, I know I'm in, like, instantly. I was like, there's Super Saiyans and this kind of humor. I'm in for this.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And that joke almost was not going to make it.
Oh my god!
I'm so glad it did.
You know, that's too. That might date it, you know, and they're like, oh, well, a few years, maybe no one will care about Michael Moore, but eventually we decided, no, Michael Moore will always be a fat douche.
Nobody cares about Michael Moore now.
So, like, that would not be a time when people won't get it.
It'll always hold relevant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you?
For the record, our favorite characters are also the same.
Silhouette.
Yeah, it's all silhouette, man.
I play a game called...
It always seems to be Silhouette or Fire Ants with a following distant Blood Death.
Nah.
Blood Death is cool.
Blood Death is. I have your. When I bought the comic, you guys were giving out the prints too. I have Blood Death and I think it's Jill from Resident Evil. That's in my son's room right now.
And your son is how old?
My son is 2 years old. That's
Well, yeah, you gotta start early.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's Blood Death and Jill,
You gotta
and
get
then
acquainted.
Rocket and Groot are up on his walls right now with Monsters Inc. That's where I'm starting. I'm at.
That's pretty good company. That's awesome.
I want to also make it clear that he lets his child sleep with stuffed versions of weeping angels.
Yeah.
So...
and an adipose. Yeah. Listen, I want him to be a nerd. And
Fearless or neurotic.
Yeah, either or.
And I'll tell you what, that weeping angel is terrifying. Like it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's the
looking.
mouth open, eyes open one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So it's
His
only
kid's
two
going to be an
ways.
agoraphobe.
He's gonna be fearless.
Or an agoraphobe.
Fearless, you got a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
Those are your two options.
Do you? All right, but I'll try and get us back on track. You guys, you did Kickstarter, you did Patreon. Did you ever consider taking it to like an Image Or I know, Zach, you just did that great Valiant cover that we were just seeing pictures of. It's on the Facebook page, and it's actually when you Google you, it's one of your things.
One of the first things.
Nice.
Did you guys ever? I mean, I'm sure you thought about it, but did you ever actually? Was it a serious step you ever thought about taking?
Make your own brand.
Bringing it to like an Image or a Valiant.
There was, for the first Kickstarter for issue 1, there wasn't a second during that campaign that we weren't thinking that we were going to finish it and release with Image. Like, the whole time we were looking at this book and we knew how good it was, and we were like, we're going to take this to Image or to Dark Horse, and we're going to get published, and we're just going to be comic book makers. This is just what we're going to do. And we sent the hardcover to Image. I sent them a million emails. We've never talked to
I actually
Image.
physically put a copy in Robert Kirkman's hands that one time.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
kidding
Yeah,
me?
I looked at it like with that incredulous, like, what the hell is this?
Really?
Aw.
Wow, that makes me lose a lot of respect for that guy.
I hate hearing those things. It
The
always
Robert
sucks.
Kirkman thing is last year San Diego Comic-Con, we went and we got a booth, and I waited outside of like the Skybound thing. So it was like,
So
I didn't expect it
as a sweaty weirdo, like
Yeah.
tracked it down, or, like shoved it out. You know? So I mean, we don't begrudge Mr. Kirkman for like going, who the hell is this weirdo shoving a book in my hand?
yeah, and also he makes a superhero comic. Like he makes the reason that we wouldn't go to Image. Like, it's because we're competition for Invincible. Like I understand the decision. Like, I'm not saying that that's what the decision was, because we never talked to them.
Right.
But
We're talking out of our ass here.
no, but like,
No, I agree with you though. I mean, you, as far as I'm concerned, you are competition for Invincible, and I
Very
love that.
much so.
That's one of my pull books. You know, now that I'm back into it again, that's always been a pull book for me. And if you guys were on the shelf and it was a choice between the two of you, right now I'd say you guys.
Oh wow, thank you.
That's awesome.
And I mean, you're talking to a guy that I've been collecting books since I was a kid. I mean, I probably have 7,000 books sitting at home that I got to figure out where to put them all because I just moved, getting everything moved again. But it absolutely, it's the truth. You guys do great work.
Awesome.
I was not disappointed, and I don't think any of us were disappointed in anything that we read.
Not at all.
Everything was enjoyable throughout the entire book. The Patreon stuff is remarkable. The Kickstarter stuff blew my mind when I was researching into it. I couldn't believe it, and it's because you guys do such great work. And I got to thank you for putting it out there, because it's stuff like this that makes me want to. Like, I've been out of comics for about 2.5 years. And I'm getting back into it now, and I'm slowly starting to build back up. And this was honestly one of the first books that I'm coming back into it with, and that's why I ripped through it so much in the first weekend, because it was so well done, so well rounded all the way through for me, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
And
It's a good book to start with if you've never read comics before, and it's a greater book to start with if you've read comics your whole life, because it's just that much funnier.
Yeah. Because then you get all the jokes.
Yeah.
and I.
Us with our own swelling heads.
They're gonna float away because of you guys. We're just nerding out so hard at them.
And you know what though?
You know what? Please continue.
Oh, all right.
Well then, and you know, they make fun of me for nerding out on people, but it's more than well deserved for you guys. And
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to everything and anything you guys are doing. Trying to get situated now so that I can be one of your monthly paying you guys monthly to get in on the Patreon, and it's so good. And I mean, they're tapping me now, and I it's been almost an hour already, and I can't really believe it. Is there anything you guys want to plug or push or anything of that nature before we let you go?
The Patreon is what patreon.com/supercomic. So people can check that out. If you're we're up on Comixology. I think you have to search for Unlikely Hero Studios on Comixology is like the easiest way to find us. But we have digital copies of 1 through 5 on there, and I think we just released the trade like digitally, like 1 through 5 altogether, not too long ago. So if you're into digital comics, like that's there. We're the hardcover. We still have some left on Amazon, which is the the first I guess first printing. Like I'm all about like trying to make like the rarity, like I guess, right? Like somebody should be doing it.
Yeah.
Special edition.
So like when we reprint, it's gonna be something different, right? That's what publishers are supposed to do. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
We're kind of winging the whole thing, but we through the Kickstarter we made 1,000 trades. I think there's like between 100 left, maybe like like around somewhere, vaguely around 100
There's a
or
couple
so.
of boxes. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So
I don't have time to count these things. I'm drawing.
You got to learn what a sketch is, Zach.
so some of that original like hardcover print run is on Amazon now. I don't know the address. I would just search Super Comic or Unlikely Hero Studios or
Cool.
maybe like Zack Dolan. Like if you put Zack Dolan into
Apparently, you can Google me and stuff actually like comes up.
I was Googling both of you, so I don't want to swell your head too big, Zach, but I was Googling both of you.
We've been Googled. And also there is an event on the 15th of this month, which I think is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Of next week, for the release of the Valiant cover at Level
Awesome.
Up in the Hamilton Mall, and at least I will be there.
yeah, Zach got a variant cover for what's the book?
It's called the Book of Death. It's their big mega
Nice.
crossover event, but the issue I have is actually an Eternal Warrior.
Oh, nice.
Very
Wow,
cool.
that's great. And where's that at again? I'm sorry.
It's in the Hamilton Mall.
In New Jersey?
At Level Up Entertainment and Farpoint Toys and Games, which are connected. They're like part of the same store, basically.
Awesome.
So Zach will be there. We've got the book that he did the variant cover for, and I'm sure he'll be doing sketches and stuff there.
Yeah, I'll be doing custom commissions, and we'll have prints, and we'll have books, and we'll have stuff.
Oh, that's great. That's something we're definitely going to have to try and point our people in a direction of.
Yeah, we'll definitely flock our sheep your way.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions for you guys? I don't know how. I don't know.
If you were a tree.
I'd totally be an oak. Totally an oak.
Totally no.
Next question.
Does Dandelion count for me?
That's not
He took my answer, so I guess I got to go with...
He was oak or dandelion?
Yeah!
Wait, hold on.
I'm gonna be an oak too.
That is a huge jump.
All you get.
I'm a little bit of both.
More of the dandelion.
This is how like Super kind of is written. Like Zach, I'll be like, well, I do the lettering, which is like the very very last step, and Zach does the pencil, which is the very very first step. So like half of the time when we're filling in like what they're saying, yeah, we have a script beforehand, but we go off the rails.
We almost entirely change it by the final product. Like
That's, like I said, derail. We start one place and end another. That's perfect.
that is exactly how it goes, and then like a page will read completely differently than how it was like scripted initially. And I'm like, yeah, this is way better.
And I'll try to get Zach to do the voices if it's one of these guys. Like if it's Max Archer or Baron Blizzard or somebody, I'll be like, well, okay, Max. Well, I'll give him the situation.
Yeah.
My dementia contributes a lot.
All right, wait. Before, I'm not letting you go. I need a voice. Give me a voice. Somebody, please.
Any voice? When I can do the Baron Blizzard voice very easily. He has to be scared. He has to scream and shout, "Oh, there's people!"
Oh my God! If I knew you were gonna do voices, I would have asked you to do that the whole interview.
It's very it destroys my throat doing that.
Yeah.
I have to ask
fun,
Zach.
and then like the end of the night, I'm like, okay, thanks everybody.
I have to ask Zach. We have to have you guys call in on an episode one night or something and have you do a voice on the episode. How down for that would you be?
Oh, I'm totally down. Yeah, whatever, sure.
One of my favorite memories from Super, because I was just laughing so hard. We one of our first conventions ever was Wizard World Philly.
Oh God.
2-3 years ago, and we are. We got in this super expensive booth. nothing to sell besides the one issue, and like we never done anything like this. We had no signage. It looked like
It was very clown shoes. Answer that.
And so like it was just kind of a bummer trip for the most part. And so Zack sitting there, and this guy in a Bane costume walking by shopping.
Yeah, out of nowhere, I'm sitting there, I'm like, Bane, searching for Bane.
So, is Bane a fresh produce guy then?
and every time, like, and the Bane guy can hear the Zack doing the voice, so he's like walking away, but he still wanted to like shop at the thing. Like, sneak back. Like,
That is incredibly awkward.
so,
Thank you guys so much for brightening up my night. Like that's beautiful. I want to talk to you guys more.
Yeah, we're gonna have you guys back on for sure.
Yeah.
Please, if thank you again for coming on.
thank you for having us.
If you guys, please, if you ever want to come back on, that'd be great. I mean, maybe we could reach back out to you. We work something out again in the future.
Sure, absolutely.
This has been a great time.
It's the start of a beautiful relationship.
Yes, let's hope so.
Thank you so much for stopping by, picking up a book that you had never heard of before. On like that's huge, because before the selling point of Super is it's awesome, but you have to read it to.
They actually have to see it to know that. Like
to do that, so we come out of our holes like once every
This summer we did it a lot. We did.
May we have a couple, but then we're gonna be back
to the sanctum.
on probably until like next May. So and when we do it, and we see people with like Captain America shirts saying like, "Oh, I don't read comic books," and
that's what kills me about
We
cons
hate
now.
those people.
Yeah, we're like, not anymore.
Yeah.
You need to read this comic.
So it's very cool to talk to fans. Like this is.
You
This is
definitely
very
created
awesome.
3 fans right here. I'll tell you that much. 4.
Absolutely.
4 when you count my buddy Potter. And I'm like I said, I'm handing this book out to anybody that I can, pointing them in this direction. We're gonna point them in this direction. We're actually starting to do videos. I'm gonna be doing comic book review videos, and this is definitely one of the books I'm going to be reviewing. I'll stay out of sport. I don't know how out of spoiler territory I can stay when I'm reviewing the book, because I just want to talk about it.
A review is a different matter.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of like choose to go into it knowing that you could have stuff spoiled.
Oh, believe me, I scream it at the top of my lungs every time before I do something. So
I'm the worst with that too. Like I'll be in an interview, like they've had to calm me down with that, because they'll be like, okay, so issue 6, this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm like yelling at him off camera. I'm like, shut up.
Stop giving it away.
Like Plague was on the cover of issue 3, but we hit him from all the advertising from we took out an ad in previews, but we couldn't show the cover, or like we didn't want to, because like that was like the
We only have the thumbnail of the cover. Like in the actual ad, he's only barely suggested. We were like, no, you can't see him.
and
that's great, and that makes you guys, that you're fans. You are fans of your own work, and you're fans of the industry, and that makes us enjoy it. And the stuff like this that we're having this conversation with, you just want to talk about it, and it's great, because that's all I want to do is talk about this book.
We can just talk for days.
Hence the podcast. That's why we do it.
Yep, that's why we do it every week.
well, thanks for recording on a day that you don't usually come in too.
Hey man, anything
For you guys?
Yeah.
Anything.
Of course. Keep up the good work, guys.
All right, gentlemen, have a very good night.
All right, guys, take care.
Thank you. Thanks.
He's just a common